in the beginning you said, I feel like I'm everywhere. I feel like my lessons, I know where I want to be and I know what I want them to walk away with, but it didn't feel right for you. So we talked about something, too much, or you felt like you were covering too much, and we said, okay, well, let's really think about what you want the kids to know at the end of that lesson and at the end of the week, and so you turned around, we planned a lesson, you focused more on the letter C, because that was your overall outcome, even though you were wanting to introduce some geography and social studies themes with it. So now that you've taught it, how do you feel? How does it feel for you? Are you still do you feel like you were all over the place, or how did that feel for you?
I felt like a lot better about it, and especially seeing the lesson, I felt like it was somewhat successful. I mean, I was feeding them a lot of information and lots of little clues with the, with the geography stuff, but it had an opportunity to show a lot of C's, and a lot of the letter C's, and they got that part of it, I felt, and that was like my main objective. And if they got some of the geography, that was great. I think it's more, and especially with this grade level, it's more about exposure than it is about mastery. But I think the mastery was getting there with the letter C, which is my main objective and which is more age appropriate. So, and I'm glad you kind of opened my eyes up to that, like when we were talking, you kept saying, okay, then they're 4, and they're 4, and they're 5, and, so... And I think they, they're on the cusp of getting those other concepts, and like I said, the main thing would be maybe it opens up the door to community helpers, which is a standard, which we'll get into, and it opened up the door to, California, which is a standard. So.
And I think one of the big things, too, is that you realize, like, you have so much that you're trying to accomplish with your students, because you have big aspirations and expectations for them. But you found a way now that you can accomplish your immediate goal, but you could still bring in those other goals that you know that those are concepts they're going to be needing to know. And we know at this age level, they need to hear it over and over and over again. So by addressing your main concern, which was the letter C, which was the focus for the week, and bringing in your social studies and your geography concepts to help you teach the letter C, because that's something coming up. It's the standard you're going to address. Now you've kind of found a way to, I think...
2 birds with 1 stone, which is the teacher's dream, right?
Well, it fits your teaching style, too, because I know your teaching style, and you kind of bring in a lot of things. So I think you've found a way. Now, how do you see the way you planned this time versus the first time? Remember the first time you planned and you showed me everything you had, right? All your books and the Armadillo book and everything you had. And then we turned around and we planned a little differently, still using a lot of the things you had and the idea you had. But we decided on what our focus was going to be, and you kept that as your focus as you taught and as you planned. Do you see how you can transfer that in other areas?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you thinking now? Like, in fact, it's been a while. It's been like a few days since we actually met. So have you seen yourself kind of using that same teaching or planning strategy in other areas?
I think just being more like precise and having more of like really thinking beforehand, like what is my main objective? Like, and what can the kids like truly do? Because I think I was, and especially like being a science teacher before this, teaching 3rd grade, teaching,
that's a big shift too. 3rd grade to pre-K.
Yeah. And like I know so much as like a teacher, and especially with the sciences. That's just like I want to expose them because I love it so much, and if I love it, then I know they're going to be passionate about it, because that kind of passion wears off. But I know that, and for me, it's like, okay, well, am I being selfish sometimes by wanting to teach something that I'm into? Like it was A week, and we chatted about atoms, it's like that. But that's science. But they need to know that everything's made out of atoms. That's true. But like, am I going to really do some big atoms lesson? No. But so sometimes I'm like, okay, hold on. Do I want to teach this because I like to teach it for me? And I do have a little more freedom than other people have because of this curriculum or not a curriculum. But am I teaching it, because I want to teach it and I think it's really useful to them? Or is it, something that they can actually grasp and for them? And, is it really going to make that connection for the letters, or am I more successful teaching about alligator or whatever is more
because you have to remember their schema.
Their schema.
Their world. And so would that be a concept that helps the letter C or whatever the focus of stick? or would it make more sense to use
Right.
something that's more from their world? And we know
Right.
at this age level, their world
Mm-hmm.
consists of family,
Mm-hmm.
mommy, daddy, brother,
Right.
sister,
Mm-hmm.
and animals.
Right.
Like they know
Yes.
farm animals,
Right.
right? So it's like bringing in the world. But I like their world also as their community. So I
Right.
thought this lesson was
Yes.
so strong because you took pictures and you used Linda
Right,
Vista.
right.
You had the
Playground.
Google Maps
Right,
of our
right.
playground and our classroom. They immediately connected to that.
Right.
And because they can connect to it, they connected to
Right.
community.
Mhm.
So I think that was just like a really smart move on
Right.
your part, is to use that. I don't know if you knew you were strategically had that plan, like, oh, I'm going to use our classroom in our
Right.
community, or if that was just happened to be. But that was a smart thing
Right.
to do. I think
Yeah.
thinking about your objective and what your overall objective is, what
Right.
you're doing now,
Right.
and then thinking about their world that they're in and bringing things in, but also it doesn't hurt to kind of push that thinking outside the
Oh,
world,
yeah.
because that's the only way they're going to get the schema.
Right,
And the
exactly.
more we give it to them, you give them the entry point through their world, and then you expose them to the bigger world. So but I think the lesson went really well. It did
Thanks.
seem like you were all over the place. The focus was very evident. The kids knew the focus because they kept saying,
Right.
I see a C. You
Right.
didn't even have to say
Right.
it. Right when something came up, it's
Right.
like, I see two C's. I
Right.
see the big
Right.
one and the little one. So already that was your
Right.
formative assessment that, oh, they understand what the lesson's about, what their objective is. Their objective today is
Right.
to focus on letter
Yes.
C and the sounds
Sounds.
you make.
Right.
So I really think, I say bravo to you. I think that was like
thank
a
you.
that was such a big shift.
Right.
That was a really huge shift. And the fact that you're seeing it and taking it to planning in your other areas of the curriculum, I think that's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
and it takes one little tweak sometimes.
Right. And
to
it
just-
feels so much better. Like,
Yeah,
I think
I
it's like you just don't have enough time. So you like put it all on. Like I said, you saw my pile. Like I just kind of put it all there. And like, we'll kind of pull but like, just taking the extra time and like going through and being like this book. And I feel like I'm like hoarding because I have so much like third grade stuff, science stuff, and I have it all in a pile. But then like, if I'm going to be in this grade level, like, sifting through, like, this book's inappropriate, this book's done.
Right.
So it's just, like, finding, the
materials.
time and the materials to go through
That's why I
and
told
be
you,
able
keep your
to...
units together.
I
And
know,
just even like these kind of lesson things,
Right.
keep, your beginning
Right.
things that you taught together. Keep a
Right.
binder with what you're teaching and why and the time frames.
Right.
Because you are basically building your own curriculum.
Right.
There is no official curriculum
Right.
for you guys yet, so you need the resources, and chances are I don't think anybody's going to take this position away from you.
No one's going to want this.
I think it's
but-
pretty much your baby.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
cool with
think
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say you've already invested so much in just the way your
Right.
environment is. You're comfortable. You're very animated, and that's what this age
Right, needs.
group needs as well. And you understand the need to like keep things moving,
Right.
and to keep them engaged. And a lot of teachers just feel like it's the students' fault, and it's not on them to
Right.
keep the students, involved. And
Right.
so they'll put something up for 30 minutes and expect a student, a 4-year-old to sit through a 30-minute story.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
I know their attention spans, like their age, so it's like if they're 4 years old, they can sit for 4 minutes or 5 minutes. So seeing that for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And even though they were kind of like moving around, they weren't like.
But they were engaged.
Yeah.
They were they
That
were
was
more
shocking.
engaged than some second grade classrooms I've gone in. So this
Right.
was really strong, and I really hadn't paid
Right.
attention to the time.
Right.
Because I was so engaged in your lesson
Right.
too, I didn't realize how much time had went by. But Octavian
Right,
was
yeah.
really engaged, and
He's my wild child for sure.
and he was liking it too. So I mean,
Right.
that just goes to show you that kind of planning and bringing in all those different modalities from what you used with the
Yeah.
visual with
Right.
stacking and
Uh-huh.
it going from a small world to the larger world, from your PowerPoint to everything else that you used, your letters and your board right here,
Right.
and using city,
Right.
community, and then on the other side of the card,
Right.
that was excellent.
The cards.
The
yeah.
cards, yeah, I love that. So I mean, all the things you did was just like, wow,
Right.
smart teaching
Thank you.
points and smart choices.
Thank you.
So what I'd like you to do is just keep in mind of how it's going.
Right.
And then maybe in a couple of weeks we can meet again.
Yeah.
And just say, Aida, okay, I think I've got this
Right.
down, but this is starting to bug me, or I don't feel comfortable
Right.
with this.
Well, I like what you said more about like the kind of the check off, like that informal assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt good, but then I go in a day later and like, what letter is this? And
Right.
so it's like, how can I just keep continuing and then. Or just an easy way to like be
Right.
able to check the kids off without
Right.
like sit down, let me pull you by yourself and
Right.
You know, and
And
just
I
trying
used-
to find that quick assessment of like we've done like
Right.
3 letters, that C's the 3rd letter in the alphabet. So, I just want to keep up with it. And like, are they retaining it throughout, 2 weeks from now?
And that's what I would see other kinder teachers do, is
Right.
like the door as the kids are coming in. What's this letter? They have like flashcards. Or when
Right.
they introduced sight words, she would have them like by the door, like
Right.
taped different places. And as the kids walked in the classroom, they had to stop and read the
Right.
sight words. So she was really clever, like on how
Right.
what they did,
I
like
wanna
when they
get clever
left
like that.
and
Yeah.
came in and stuff. And so everything she taught, they kind of had to go over. So you can even use your door
Right.
as your bulletin board. And so put the 3 letters they should know by now, A, B, and C. And so
Mm-hmm.
as they come in the morning, they have to read them. As they leave, they read them backwards, C,
Right.
B, A. Because
Right.
you want them not to
I'll
just
mix them
know.
up.
Right.
Yeah.
Auditory. So any kind of concept like that, that could be your formative assessment.
Right.
And if
Okay.
you see little Dylan or someone
Oh,
that's
no.
still not getting
Right.
it right, then you know yourself, like, okay, when I do my guided reading group, that's what I'm gonna focus on
Right.
with Dylan, so and so and so and so.
Right. Exactly.
So it's a very easy, quick assessment.
I'm gonna do that. That door is metal. I think I could use my magnets and actually just.
Oh, yeah.
But I like the
'Cause
idea
they
of
line up to the
confusing them.
bathroom
Let
that
a
way.
few of them. Yeah, let a few of them. I like it because they're such like little parrots. So when someone
Right.
says ABC, they're
They
like
can
ABC.
just hear it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
if
I
you
need to
move
try
it-
to do something where I have it and I switch it, and then I just kind of make a
Right.
little an N for neurogeny or whatever
Right.
instead
And
of
I
like.
would only check off
quick-
those who aren't getting it.
Right,
So this
yeah,
way you're
no,
not
I
busy
know.
trying to do this, just like, okay,
Right.
so-and-so didn't get it, so-and-so.
And I know
this
who
way,
I'm
that's
looking
you know.
for. I know
Right.
my focus students, but still.
Right. But still,
Right.
it'll also give you, if you put a date on the time,
Right.
when they finally did get it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's even just as important. You can say, oh, you know what, this student, especially if you consider anybody
Right.
for RTI, you can say, well, it just takes them longer. They get the concepts
Right.
eventually, but I notice there's a pattern. They're usually 2-3 weeks behind their peers.
Right.
And that's not bad. We're not all
That's
made
cool.
the
Yeah.
same way. So, but it's good information.
It's
for
good
you
to know. Yeah, I just don't know like what's
Right.
going on in there. Like,
And it's good information for the parents, so
Right.
that they
Mhm.
know, okay, maybe I work extra on these concepts. I know my son or daughter will eventually get
Right.
it. I just know they take more time.
Right.
Because parents worry right away when it's like,
Uh,
your kids don't know the letters yet,
yeah,
or they
there's
don't have
something
this.
wrong, yeah.
Right. So you can just say, well, this is a trend I'm
Right.
noticing.
Mm.
It's just helpful information.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna do that.
All right. Well,
Thank you so much.